there is a role for the media to play in these kinds of situations. You know, it's dynamic, and I think people are all over the spectrum from leave it completely alone to, you know, you're not doing enough to cover it. But most people, I think, are probably in the middle there someplace that, yeah, and clearly they're interested in the topic and want to know more about it for a period of time there. And so I'm their eyes and their ears in that regard, and I think people get that. You know, somebody asked at the SPJ thing if they thought that people were numb to these kinds of incidences now. And I kind of get what they're saying, but how I would phrase it is that I think people are overwhelmed by it. And it's not, you know, I grew up in North Idaho. You know, you're not going to take guns away from the people that I grew up with. That's just, it's a non-starter as a conversation. And, you know, I've known and seen people with mental illness, and I understand the complexion, you know, the complexity of that. And so, and I think most thinking people do, you know, they realize just it's so complex that there's not, we're not going to come in with some overarching, you know, legislation that's going to be you know, solve this whole thing. And so that part I get, you know, and you know, I totally see that, you know, bad news fatigue that comes over something like this after that initial, okay, we've sort of figured this out, you know, we know what we are going to know for a now. And people just intuitively move away from it, I think, at that point. You know, so I get that as well. And so that part, I don't, you know, even pretend to have some notion, you know, like, hey, I'm a journalist, and you know, we're gonna, you know, my photos are gonna change the world here or anything like that. I guess it would be nice if it was part of the discussion, perhaps, but I don't hold any illusion that, you know, I'm doing some, you know, holy work here or anything in that regard.